I cannot believe the words that I'm about to have to say to you. We've got to talk about how a wealthy white West Virginia couple allegedly adopted 5 black children and then put them to work on a farm as slaves. With the 2 whites in question being Donald Ray Lance and Jean K. Whitefeather, both of whom are in their 60s. And I know we're not supposed to judge books by their cover, but I mean, it looks like they were handmade to be the poster children for this story. And as far as how we got to me having to share this unsettling news with you, back in October, one of their neighbors called the police and said the couple had locked 2 of their adopted kids in a shed, and saying the kids were forced to perform farm labor and they weren't allowed inside the main residence. Right, so the cops, they drive over to see what the hell's going on. And while they found that the parents weren't there, they walk over to this, oh Jesus, this locked 20-foot by 14-foot barn, with them ultimately breaking inside and finding a 14-year-old boy and a 16-year-old girl wearing dirty, ratty clothing and smelling of body odor, saying this poor boy had open sores on his bare feet. Police noting that they had a small RV porta potty, but no running water or lights. And these poor 2, they told the police they'd been in there for 12 hours since they were last fed, adding that their foster parents forced them to sleep on the concrete floor without any mattresses. With the cops then finding a 3rd kid, a 9-year-old girl, with her reportedly inside an unprotected loft area of the house. And then the remaining 2 kids, who were 6 and 11, they showed up at the house with their monster parents a few hours later. And as far as how they defended themselves, allegedly Whitefeather told police, yes, we lock them in the shed, but they like it, saying, oh, they just treat it like a teenage clubhouse. But notably, the judge in this case, not buying it. Instead, saying the kids were targeted because of their race and used basically as slaves. Now, initially with this, Donald and Jean, they were only charged with child neglect, right? And they pled not guilty to that. But then the prosecutor was like, oh, no. And they returned with a 16-count indictment of much more serious crimes, with those including human trafficking of a minor, civil rights violations based on color, race, and/or ancestry, use of a minor child in forced labor, and child neglect creating a substantial risk of serious bodily injury or death. And actually, along with that, the prosecutors going after their money, right? Because back in February, they sold their Washington ranch for $725,000. With then 3 days later, Whitefeather's brother paying each of their $200,000 bonds, right? And so assuming they used the money from that sale to post bond, the prosecutor argued that the money was obtained illegally, because they used that property to commit human trafficking. And seemingly the judge agreed because she put the bond money into protective custody until they resolved the case, and then even raising their bond to $500,000 each. So now they're back in jail. We're gonna have to see how things play out. But I mean, as far as reactions, you see the disgust that you expect, but also you have people wanting more and more answers here.
Never thought I'd see the day that I would actually see real live slave owners.
They wouldn't go out and try to do this to some beauty queen from a freaking nice little white family. They would say to themselves, hell no, they're gonna get us for this.
Well, what we're seeing is pure evil. Where was the social worker? Where were the teachers? Now these neighbors are coming out and saying, oh, we saw them working. They were having to do farm work. Well, why in the hell did you not speak up?
And so, of course, I'd love to know your thoughts on all of that insanity.